This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories.
And welcome to my recap and review of The Bad Batch, Season 3, Episode 4, titled A Different Approach. If you haven't watched this episode yet, there will be spoilers, so let's go straight into it. Although Omega and Crosshair have managed to escape Mount Tantus in the world of Wayland, the shuttle they've escaped in has sustained heavy damage and isn't able to stay in hyperspace for long. They are then forced to crash land on a nearby planet, and after crashing, Omega tries to go and pull out Wayland's coordinates, but Crosshair tells her that they don't have enough time. The Empire is coming and they shouldn't be going back there. Omega reluctantly agrees and goes on with Crosshair towards a spaceport, which Crosshair was able to identify during the crash. They then head off to the spaceport. Meanwhile, Dr. Hemlock begins to interrogate Naliste, demanding to know why all the tests she took would have came up negative for Omega. Naliste tries to lie and say that this was a false positive. Hemlock, not believing her, tells her once they recapture Omega, they will see who is right, and tells Naliste that she is no longer safe. Omega and Crosshair reach the spaceport, where they begin to see that there is a heavy Imperial presence here. Omega stops Crosshair from moving on and tells him that they need to find disguises. They go and take some clothing from different locations throughout the city, and using it to hide themselves, they begin to head towards the spaceport. And reaching it, they see that it is heavily guarded by troopers, and there is no way for them to get through. Crosshair says that he can take out about half of the troopers here before they realize what's going on, but wanting a less violent solution, Omega goes to the receptionist and begins to ask how much tickets are. She then negotiates with the receptionist, telling them they lost their chain codes and there has to be another way on. The receptionist asks if they are trying to bribe him, and Omega says if that's what he wants to call it. The receptionist agrees and tells him it'll be 1,500 credits each. Omega asks how he's supposed to get that, and the receptionist tells him it's not his problem. Omega then goes with Crosshair to try and find a way to get the credits. They then find a cantina and go in. Omega thinks that she could go win a lot of money from playing cards, and Crosshair asks what would happen if she loses, since they have nothing to bet with. Omega says that'll be a problem for them, and then goes to play. She begins playing with the Trandoshan and easily begins to beat him in the game. An Imperial officer enters into the cantina and is told about Omega and her winning streak. Seeing this as an easy win, he demands for the Trandoshan to leave. The Trandoshan reluctantly agrees, and Omega and the Imperial begin to play. The Imperials then go and discover the wreckage of the ship that Omega and Crosshair escaped in, and go to contact their leader. The Imperial, annoyed by Batcher, demands for Omega to take him outside. She asks Crosshair to do this, and they continue their game. The Imperial eventually gets to a point where he thinks he has won, but Omega reveals that she actually has the better hand and wins the game. The Imperial then has his troops come up and tell Omega that she is gambling and that is illegal. He has to collect a 10,000 credit fine from her. Although Crosshair goes to attack the Imperial, Omega holds him back and pays him. The Imperial is satisfied and walks off. Crosshair then asks how much money she has. Omega tells him that she has 3,500 credits and that'll be enough to cover both of their tickets, plus with a little bit extra. They then go out and realize that Batcher has been taken, and desperate to know what happened, Omega asks a local who saw it. He originally says that he'll do it for no less than 10,000, but Crosshair has an intimidating look at him and makes him drop it down to 5,000. He then tells Omega that the Imperials took Batcher and he leaves after being paid. Omega then wants to go and save him while Crosshair just wants to get out of there. Furious with this, Omega just tosses the credits to him and tells him that she'll go save Batcher himself and he can get himself out if he wants. Crosshair turns and watches her go and debates on what to do. He eventually chooses to do the right thing and go help Omega. The two go into the Imperial facility and notice where Batcher is, but the Imperial, who has been informed about the shuttle crash, goes and tells them that they really thought that they could get away with this. He told them to give him all the money and then they will be recaptured by Hemlock since they won't need the money. Omega reluctantly slides the money to him and tells Crosshair that they could do things his way now. Crosshair opens fire and begins to take down troopers, also using ricochets to open the pens and being willing to release all the creatures that were captured by the Imperial. Batcher joins Omega and the two begin to steal the Imperial cargo shuttle. The Imperial tries to follow them, but Crosshair knocks open another one of the containers. A large tentacle comes out of it and grabs the Imperial. It drags him in and likely kills him. And then Crosshair goes and joins Omega on the ship, and they take off and manage to flee the planet. Hemlock arrives and begins to investigate the crash site. He learns that Omega and Crosshair were here, but they managed to escape in a cargo shuttle. He then demands for the shuttle to be tracked and then goes to return to Tantus. Meanwhile, Omega and Crosshair, who have managed to escape, are taking a moment to rest, and then Crosshair tells her they need to find a way to ditch the ship because the Imperials will be able to track it. Omega says that she already knows and used a coded transmission to contact Hunter and Wrecker so they can set up a meeting to get them out of there. They go and land where they see the Marauder. Omega goes out and first unites with Wrecker, then with Hunter. She then is asked how she was managed to escape. She said she has help as Crosshair looks out on them and they stare at Crosshair. And honestly, this was a great episode. It was probably the second weakest of the season, with the weakest being the second episode from last week. But still, this was a really solid episode, and they did a great job with having Omega and Crosshair kind of connect in this and start to get to know each other in a situation where their life wasn't in constant danger like it was in the previous episodes where they were together, with the only real exception of them briefly meeting on Camino and being in a cell together. But really, besides that, they didn't have a chance to really get to know each other, and this helped just a lot with that. They were really well done in this, and the relationship between the two was done well. I think that it's amazing that Crosshair is still keeping his cynical personality where he really doesn't want to be doing anything for anyone, and is still kind of devastated by realizing the Empire isn't a good thing. It was really awesome to see him in this, and just kind of want to go brute force his way through everything, while Omega was able to go and be a little smarter and use some of the skills she obtained over the previous 2 seasons to go and get them money and try and get them to transport. Although they do have to go with Crosshair's method, it is mainly because they find themselves in a situation where combat was necessary. So it was still a really great episode to show kind of the strengths of both, and I really enjoyed that. The card game was fun. I'm not sure which one it was because I don't think it was Sabak, but who knows, maybe it was. But it was still pretty interesting to see everything that happened in this. It was honestly just a really fun episode overall. And going to the ending, I just both loved and hated the ending because although it does make just a lot of sense for them to kind of just be staring at each other and kind of be in shock that Crosshair was able to help Omega escape and that he would actually do this when they weren't fully sure if he actually did turn on the Empire. But I just wish that Sid was also just a little bit longer and we got to see more of the interaction because in both ways, although are great, I just think that it would just help just a little bit more. But yeah, honestly, I want to know what you think about this episode because I really did enjoy it. As I said, I think that it's the second weakest of the season so far, but that's not really saying it's bad. It's just saying that we had 2 episodes that were amazing, and this just isn't as amazing as that. But yeah, honestly, just let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next episode of Legends and Theories.
Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.